get ready to party because we are going to introduce some winter teams to you. Look into the camera, get comfortable, and something to munch on. Throw it up because it might go in. Let's kick this one off. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And, you know, the winter season is here.
It is. We got a couple more teams that are now in action. A lot more getting their start this week, and by next week, everybody will be going.
Yeah, absolutely. And
except for swimming. Swimming has one more week behind that.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And you know, we'll talk about first openers for a couple of teams, and a couple of teams have had a few games under their belt already.
Yeah, well, we talked about the girls hockey team. We did the preview a couple weeks ago. Already had a couple of games in before our last show. They got number 3 in on Saturday the 15th. They lost to Armstrong 3-1 despite outshooting the Falcons 31-17. Maddie Blomquist had the lone goal for the Cardinals, and this was a game that the Cardinals really felt they completely controlled, completely outplayed the Falcons, but sometimes you run into a hot goaltender, and that's what happened to them against Armstrong.
Yeah, you know, and they talked about at the beginning of the season, we're going to have to be able to put the puck in the net, and that's going to be a success for us. You know, we talked about the lack of depth they have, and they have to have contribution from a number of different players.
Yeah, the Cardinals returned home last Tuesday, still looking for that first win and feeling like Spring Lake Park was definitely a team they could beat. Panthers were 2-2 after putting up big numbers against Centennial and Andover, but the Cardinals considered them a beatable team. More than that, they felt they deserved the win over Armstrong, and they were determined not to let another one slip away. Cardinals set the pace early, get on the board just over 5 minutes in. Emily Fish drops for Lily Hackett, then deflects Hackett's shot past the keeper. Fish's first of the year gives Coon Rapids its first lead of the season. Same score early in the second. Cardinals work it back to the point. Hanula's shot is going to hit traffic, but deflects right to Whitney Gregg on the side of the cage. She puts in the wide open net for her first of the year. Coon Rapids up 2-0. Panthers get one back midway through. Puck bounces over Blomquist's stick, sends Maddie Walruff in on a 2-on-1. Her shot beats Buell low on the far side to make it a one-goal game going to the third. Cardinals power play in the third. They win the draw, get it back to Blomquist. Her shot is wide, but comes right back out. Allie Stahlberger able to jam between the skates of the Panthers keeper, give Coon Rapids a little bit of a cushion again. Stahlberger strikes again with just over 3 minutes left in the game. Puck played deep to the corner. Great hustle by Brina Del Castillo to win the puck. She feeds Stahlberger in the slot. She one-times it to complete the scoring. Cardinals skate to the 4-1 victory.
It was a nice win for them, and, you know, we talked to Coach Christofferson after that first period, and she felt that, you know, the team came out a little bit slow, had needed to do some things. And then I think in the second period, they probably played their worst period of the hockey game, but coming out in that third, they really did a nice job of stepping up and putting a lot of pressure on the Spring Lake Park net.
Yeah, they really controlled the action, especially in that first and third period, and put the pressure on Spring Lake Park the entire contest, and that was something they needed to do, especially after letting that one against Armstrong get away from them. They needed to come out and set the pace, and they did that and got that first win, and the first one's always the most difficult.
It really is, and you know, you want to go into the season, you know, especially like what they were 0-3 at the time. After that fourth game, get that first win, and hopefully that leads to another one the game after.
Well, it did. It led to a big one. North Metro, not necessarily a power in the Northwest Suburban. The Cardinals powered past them 10-1. They bury the Stars. Bailey Ryan, 6 points in the game, 2 goals and 4 assists. 4 different players had 2 goals each. Lily Hackett, Alyssa Hansen each added 2 assists. And Brina Del Castillo had 2 goals and 1 helper. Heidi Hanula, a goal and 2 assists. Lots of scoring, and they hope that will continue an opportunity this week to get back to 500.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, and I think the thing that impresses me the most, it's nice to score 10 goals in a game, but contribution from so many different players. And I think that's the key. And I know that makes Coach happy because she's got some players from different parts of the ice able to score.
Yeah, and that's very big. And we talked again about starting with those 2 very good teams in Wayzata and Maple Grove, 2 top 10 ranked teams to start the season. Really gives you an idea of what it takes to be the best and to play with the best. And I thought they played, we did the game against Maple Grove. I thought they played with the Crimson pretty well for most of that game. And now that they got that under their belt, now they hit a little bit softer part of their schedule, and it's paying off by getting them some wins. Cardinals will host Totino Grace on Tuesday, and Howie?
We'll be there!
Then they go up north over the weekend. They're at Grand Rapids Greenway on Friday.
We won't be there.
No, and they play, I'm not sure. They play another game on Saturday against another Iron Range team.
Right. That's always a good tournament up there. Great hockey, good competition.
Yeah. Boys hockey team opened its season on Saturday, and they opened with a win.
Nice.
Coach Moe, in his first game as the coach, gets the W, 3-2 over Eastridge. Cardinals outshot 58-14 in this one. Zach St. John, clearly the star of the game in the net for the Cardinals, made 56 saves. Adam Johnston had 2 goals. All of the scoring in this one in the third period. The Cardinals scored the first. Travis Hess scored the first one. Eastridge tied it up 12 seconds later, something like that. Right. The Cardinals scored again, and then Eastridge tied it up again, and then the Cardinals got the winner.
Yeah, nice way to start the season. I had sent a text to Coach Moe after the game congratulating him, and he was pretty excited, obviously, about getting his first win, but made a point to say goaltending was stellar. Yeah,
and we've known that. Zach St. John, it's his third year as the starting keeper. He is going to be a key for the Cardinals, but they like to keep him from having that much work.
Yeah,
that's about as much work as you want your goaltender to do in 2 games.
Yeah, and you certainly want more than 14 shots on goal in a contest.
It would be
well.
Nice.
Well, winning the opener is a great way to start the season and a great debut for head coach Steve Moe. This is the team that should have a chance to turn some heads. They have a lot of returning veterans and some talented younger players. And everyone is coming in looking to prove themselves that they can have an impact for the team.
It was a clean board for everybody. Coach didn't know who you are, so everyone has to try their hardest.
Getting a fresh start could be big for this program. The Cardinals have struggled in recent years, but with everyone striving to impress the new coach, there isn't as much thought on the past. And early on, Coach Moe is really liking what he is seeing from his players.
One's the work ethic. Another thing is how receptive they are to probably a little bit of a new system. We're going to try to play upbeat and have a lot of fun. I'm not sure what they did last year, but that's just kind of my philosophy on the game. The more fun we can have, the more energy we might be able to bring.
The Cardinals have a nice mix of veteran leadership and young talent, and they hope it's the kind of formula that could lead to success.
I'd say our strengths, are mostly our leaders. A lot of seniors coming back. Our weaknesses is probably goal scorers. Didn't score a lot of goals last year, so offense is definitely going to be key this year.
The Cardinals were shut out 8 times last season, and that's a trend they know they need to turn around. But if they're going to be successful, they know they have to improve in all areas on the ice.
We're still going to have to be defensive-minded. We're still going to have to mind our P's and Q's in our D zone and everywhere else in the rink.
The change at the top has helped the Cardinals refocus on what is truly important. With everyone working hard to impress the new coaching staff, it has also led to the team working on themselves and not worrying quite as much about the teams they will be facing.
Our team, I'm going to say they're pretty confident this year. Compared to past years, we've always gone into the season thinking about the opponents too much a little bit. I think this year we're focusing on ourselves a little bit more, staying positive, and hopefully we'll bring it into our first game and throughout the whole season.
The Cardinals have a lot of new opponents on their schedule this season as well. With the addition of 3 new teams to the Northwest Suburban and the conference being split into 2 divisions, the Cards can worry less about some of the usual teams and focus more on starting new rivalries strong.
It's going to be a little bit different. We'll get to play some new teams I've never played before, so kind of looking forward to that. Know nothing about them, so I kind of like it. We'll see how it goes.
Yes, it will be very interesting to see how the schedule plays out because with the 2 divisions, they only see Blaine, I believe, Maple Grove, Elk River, and Noka. They only see those teams once. And the new conference members, Irondale, Totino, Grace, and Spring Lake Park, are in the same division, so they'll see them twice. So it'll be kind of interesting to see the way that plays out. Cardinals are at Hopkins on Tuesday. The Skippers usually, or Skippers is Minnetonka, Hopkins is the Royals.
The Royals, correct.
The Royals usually have a pretty good program. Then they have a week off and they're at Rogers next Tuesday. And Rogers also one of those programs that's really up and coming. They took a chunk out of several surrounding programs when they came in a few years back, and they've already shown that they should be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, without a doubt. But it has to feel good to obviously the players and the coaching staff to get the first win of the season in your first game.
Yes.
Because obviously, as you're a coach, and you as your team progresses, you see the things that are going to be strong and the things you need to work on. But coming in that first game, getting the win, now you just continue to move forward.
And despite the fact that you were heavily outshot, I mean, you're not going to win a lot of games if you're being outshot 58-14. So to kind of steal one in that first game is big for them, big for their confidence, and they do. They get that opportunity to hold their heads up because they got the victory, but to also say, okay, we still need to do some things better here. Obviously, shore up some things in the D zone and try and put a little more pressure at the other end of the ice.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, the wrestling team opens its season on Friday, and this should be an exciting season for the Cardinals program. They're coming off a year where they lost 2 conference matches, which is extremely rare for the Cardinals. They have a ton of experience, and they're really committed to recapturing the Northwest Suburban crown.
That was last year. We're worried about this year, and I'm looking forward to, having our guys prove how tough they are.
Confidence is key in every sport, but it's even more crucial in wrestling. And for the Cardinals, they are brimming with confidence after losing just 2 starters from last year's varsity roster.
Oh, it's great, man. I've never been so excited for a season. It's our senior year. We have 11 starting seniors. This should be a great year for us.
With that much experience up top, there's a lot more urgency to make things happen this season. Many of the seniors were part of the freshman team that won the state tournament, and they're all pushing hard to finish their careers with a similar degree of success.
I think there's a lot more intensity, a lot more aggression going around, a lot more people fighting for a spot because it's their senior year.
The Cardinals are number 8 in the preseason polls, but with the makeup of their lineup, they feel they should be ranked even higher. They plan to prove that this is their year.
So we have a total of 5 guys coming back that are state entrants, so we'll be pretty solid. It's going to take a darn good team to beat us. So, but we wrestle a very tough schedule, so every night we got to show up.
They'll have a chance to face some of those top opponents right away. Cardinals will face the 3rd and 4th ranked teams in the Hastings Duels opening weekend, and they're looking to make a statement in that event.
I feel like it's a good time to prove that we are better than what the state thinks we are.
The Cardinals are extremely motivated this year. For most, they know this is their last chance to make their mark on the history books. They're setting lofty goals, and they're doing what they need to do in order to reach them.
I feel like we're all putting in the work to achieve our goals towards the end of the year. Like some people's goal is just to place in sections, some places say it's some to win it. I feel like we're all putting in the work to get that.
It's not just the experience in the lineup that leads to the high level of confidence. It's the commitment and the drive that everyone in the wrestling room is showing.
We have a lot of people this year that bulked up over the summer and got so much stronger and so much better, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to be able to do.
Wrestling is an individual sport, and each guy is trying to make a name for himself, but they're also committed to team success. They're aiming for conference and section titles, and they know it will take everyone working their hardest every day if they hope to make that a reality.
It's not like some sports where you have a dominant player who can control the score. In wrestling, that doesn't have that. We don't have that. We have 14 quarterbacks on our team, and everybody has to do their part. Everybody has to, step up for us to be successful.
Well, they start with Blaine, crosstown rival, and that's one they will be heavily favored in. But then the Hastings Duels, the other teams are Hastings, Prior Lake, and Stillwater. Hastings ranked number 4 and Prior Lake number 3. I believe
that'll be tough. That's going to be tough, obviously.
It will be, and Coach and several of the players said, I think they thought they match up very, very well with Hastings. Don't know as much about Prior Lake, but know that it's going to be a battle, and hope to go out and turn some heads. The Cardinals, you see them every year at the beginning of the year. You see them ranked in that top 10, and oftentimes, for most programs, they'd be like extremely stoked to be among the state's elite. And for this program, though, they say, you know what? Eight's all right, but we want to prove that we're better than that.
Well, you know, and this is every program comes in with high expectations, but this is one of the few programs at Coon Rapids that history dictates that they're successful year after year. So they come into this season obviously with extremely high expectations, and it's good to hear that a lot of the kids have really bulked up because they know. I mean, this is a tough conference, an extremely tough section, so they're going to have to wrestle their best every single night.
Yeah, Michael Bothwell was wrestling at 152 last year. He'll be wrestling at 195 to start the season.
Did you challenge him?
No.
Okay.
No, he's a little above my weight class, but look forward to watching the Cardinals as they move through the season. Gymnastics team, hope to catch up with them this week and have a preview for you next week. Their season starts at Osseo on Thursday, the 4th of December. Then they are at Maple Grove on Tuesday, the 9th. Nordic ski team, another team we're still working on getting together with. Their season starts at Elm Creek on Wednesday the 3rd, which is next Wednesday. Then they are at Elm Creek again on Monday the 8th. Alpine ski team has a couple weeks before they get going. They start with race 1 at Wild Mountain on Tuesday the 16th of December, and then have a couple more weeks off before race 2 at Trollhog. And remember, that's a very short season for alpine skiing. We hope to be able to keep you as apprised of their progress as we can as we go through. As we've done in years past, we're really unable to get a camera out there, but hope to at least get your results and let you know how they're doing. If anyone's out there, I would almost guarantee, without knowing for sure, but I would almost guarantee that if you are interested in being a member of the Alpine Ski Team, there's probably room for you, and it's a great activity and opportunity to get on the slopes quite a bit over the winter at a low cost and
great exercise too,
and
great workout.
And at the same time, you get to represent your school.
Absolutely.
Swimming and diving team starts their tryouts and practice next week. On the 1st of December, and their first match will be at Elk River on Thursday the 11th. The Northwest Suburban Conference Relays are on Saturday the 13th.
The boys basketball team opens its season on Friday, hosting the Hastings Raiders, a tough non-conference opponent. The Cardinals looking for a strong start with a team they feel is much improved from a year ago. But the Raiders were returning their top 3 scorers and would clearly challenge the Cardinals on all parts of the court. Early on, Hastings going to their top guy, Sam Scoyen, scoring off the inbound plus the foul. Just the start of a big night for Sam. But this one stays close throughout the first half. Great answer by Timmy Wynn at the other end, showing off the hands, the spin to the lane, and scores with the left hand. He would finish with 11 in the game. Still early in the first half, Raiders in the transition. Nielsen finds Scoyen with room on the wing, spots up, knocks down the 3. Hastings led by as much as 8 in the first half. Final seconds of the first, Chris Buckley with a great look to find Timmy Wynn in the corner. He hits the 3, and Hastings laid it down as to 3 at the break, 29-26. Raiders come out fast in the second half. Off the offensive rebound, they find Joe Dietrich alone at the top of the key, drains the 3, and Hastings grows the lead to double digits. Cardinals trying to cut into that lead again. It's Buckley doing most of the damage. Crossover, creates some space, steps back to hit one of his 4 3-pointers in the game. Buckley again, this time off the inbounds pass. He comes off the bench to lead all scorers with 23 points. Cardinals get back within 3. But the Raiders defense able to cause some turnovers, and once again they start to pull away. Dietrich finishing on the fast break. Hastings seals it by hitting their free throws down the stretch as they hold on for the 64-52 win. And you know, the Cardinals trailed early in that first half, cut it back, as you mentioned, trailed again, able to cut it back. But as we talked about free throws, you get into foul trouble because you're trying to create situations. And they hit their free throws to pull away a little bit at the end.
A lot of good things coming out of that, but I think it exposed a lot of areas where the Cardinals need to work. They need more scoring from more. They need more contribution from other parts of the floor. 23 points from Chris Buckley, outstanding game for him. He looked amazing.
He did.
Timmy Wynn had a nice game with 11 points, but the next highest scorer I think had 5 points, and that's got to be something that concerns Coach O and the team a little bit. They need to spread out the scoring, get more contribution, especially inside. The other thing I took away from it, and obviously not a huge basketball mind, but as the Cardinals, they got a little bit too anxious when they were down and started making passes and kind of pushing things when they didn't really need to. They weren't trailing by that much that they had to be desperate, and they started pushing a little too fast. And that's something that we've seen over the years with less experienced teams, that they get a little bit anxious and want to push things a little too fast, and that creates turnovers.
Oh, we talked about it during the game. In years past, the Cardinals have gotten into big holes and had to dig themselves out as they progressed. And and I think that they were trying to avoid that situation by, again, hitting shots from the perimeter, trying to keep that score close. Limiting opportunities. Hastings did a nice job. One shot, and they take the rebound and go the other way.
Yeah,
so.
those are the other things. They need to rebound a little bit better, and try and get inside a little bit more. Not only to get scoring inside the paint, but also to draw some fouls and get to the free throw line. And credit to Hastings, they played a nice game, and boy did they capitalize on their free throws. They had I think 18 points from the free throw line. So not a bad start.
No, it's one game. They're going to want to move it inside to Sam Carver because they want to see that presence, as you mentioned, down low, inside, and getting some points underneath.
Well, as we mentioned, even in losing the season opener, a lot of positives for the Cardinals to take away from that game, and that's what they're going to be focusing on this year. This is a Coon Rapids program with a rough recent history, and they're trying to get that turned around. One of the first steps is to stay positive and upbeat while working but not dwelling on the things they're not doing well.
Well, as a team, we've had a bad past. We've had a bad reputation, but I really feel that this year we're going to change it and turn it around. We've all been talking about it. We know what we need to do, and we're going to get better.
The Cardinals are really in a pretty good place to start the season. They've got the right mindset, a great work ethic, and they're coming in with a lot of experienced guys who worked hard to get better in the offseason.
I think that we're starting this year where we finished off last year talent-wise. We're hustling. Our attitudes are much better playing in the present instead of the past.
With the past this program has had, it's easy to understand why the Cardinals want to forget about it. That's why the message this year will be all about working hard and staying focused on improving themselves every day.
We had a big message about being blind this year, about don't worry about expectations, don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Be blind and focus on our task.
While they're not spending too much time worrying about who their next opponent is, the Cardinals are well aware that in the Northwest Suburban, they will have to be on top of their games every time they take the court.
This is a tough conference, probably the best in this conference in the state, and so we definitely have to work hard and just give her all, go into every game believing we can win.
Believing in themselves will be key, especially when things aren't going their way. It's an attitude everyone seems to have adopted, and it will help them rise to the level of their competition every game.
I think we're just going to compete every game. Just get out there, just compete, like Coach always says. We just got to work hard and stay with it. Just follow the system and trust it.
Keeping that faith in their system and in themselves is not always going to be easy. The Cardinals will be challenged all year long. How they respond to those challenges will be key to whether they will find the success they believe they are capable of.
That's going to be one of the biggest things for us this year, that I know teams are going to challenge us. They're going to challenge our schemes. They're going to put pressure on us. They're going to want to get physical on us. Do we go into our shell or do we compete and even it out? That's going to be our biggest challenge, and it's going to be the biggest indicator if we grow this year.
Improving throughout the season will be a process. Staying strong mentally, maintaining their focus and competitiveness will all be important. But they also have to continue to enjoy themselves if they want to truly get the most out of the season.
So I want us to have fun on the court. It's okay to laugh at times, but then we got to understand when we got to grind.
Cardinals will host St. Anthony on Saturday, and then they're at Elk River on Tuesday. And Howie,
I think we'll be there.
We'll be there.
Absolutely.
Our first road game of the year.
I love taking the show on the road. Well, the girls' basketball team will open play next week with a new coach leading the way. Deb Peterson was hired a few weeks ago as the interim coach, and her first impressions are very positive both ways. She likes what she sees in her players, and they believe in her experience and ability to lead them into the future.
She seems like she was going to interact with us really well, and really is actually really into the program and wants to be here.
It hasn't taken a long time for the Cardinals and their new coach to get to know each other. And right from the start, there's a lot of mutual admiration.
Our athleticism. We are so quick and fast, and if we can harness that to get the ball up the court,
we're going to get a lot of easy layups. And if we can use that on defense as well, I think we're going to give a lot of teams a challenge, and they're going to struggle to get confidence against us because we're just going to be so aggressive going after them.
Coach Peterson and her players know there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but they're ready to roll up their sleeves and do the job. They're already addressing the areas of greatest concern.
Because last year we had a lot of trouble with like selfishness and like not, kind of hogging the ball. And now I think we've been working around the ball a lot more this year, and I think that's going to be a great help.
This is still a very young team, but several of them got a lot of playing time last year and learned on the job what it takes to play at the highest varsity level.
I guess I know what to expect now and who I'm going to be going up against. I'm going to be down low a lot, and I have to work a lot down low.
The Cardinals have a good foundation in place, but there's always new pieces to be added to the puzzle, and it will take some time to get them all to fit together.
Probably communicating, talking, and I don't know, it's a lot of new girls this year, so getting to know how everyone plays and stuff.
There's a lot of optimism involved in the program, and everyone believes there's a lot of potential on the court. But the Cardinals are being realistic. They know that they most likely will not be a conference contender, and they plan to celebrate the small victories that will help them as they strive to reach their ultimate goals.
If we can show little successes in those games against the tough competition and show them that we are making progress, and that, the scoreboard might not reflect it, it might not show up in the wins, but if we're doing the little things consistently, they will be successful.
One step at a time. I like that.
Absolutely.
Cardinals at Forest Lake on Tuesday the 2nd. They're at Champlin Park on Tuesday the 9th. And, kind of a late development in the change of coaches, but Coach Peterson is bringing a lot of enthusiasm. Maybe not quite on the level of Coach Ogorek.
Well, there's not much they can do more than Coach O.
But she brings a good level of enthusiasm. She's got a good level of experience. She did get a chance to see some of the girls playing fall ball and really likes what she's seen so far. The girls seem to like the way that she's running things, and they're responding very well, and that I think could be big for this program. This is a team that is still very, very young. You saw two of the players that we talked to, just sophomores, but they played just about every game last year as freshmen. So this is a team that has a lot of young players, but players that have some experience, and it'll be interesting to see how things work out for him this year.
It'll be interesting getting an opportunity to meet Coach Pearson. I'm looking forward to that. And she coming in as the interim coach, there's a little pressure because it's almost an audition for her.
Yes.
Because I'm sure she's interested in taking this job past this season. So the success they have on the court is going to reflect on what she does. But it sounds like, and you mentioned to me, I couldn't make it to the preview, but a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of youth in that program, which can be tough at sometimes, but also can build for the future. Could be a good thing.
Yeah, a lot of enthusiasm, but a lot of excitement about the potential that she sees in the girls, and it's a matter of trying to help them achieve that potential.
Absolutely, should be fun.
Well, it's always fun.
Yes.
And here's the fun we're having over the next couple of weeks. Girls hockey live at 7:30 as the Cardinals host the Totino Grace Eagles on Tuesday the 25th. Then boys basketball from Elk River live at 7 o'clock on Tuesday the 2nd. Our first look at the boys hockey team in action as they host Maple Grove on Thursday the 4th. But that is going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including the legend Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying goodnight.